So, how do we tackle the problem of rounding? Well, if we just try to truncate like we did before, where we cast a double A, let's say 10.9, as an int b, again we get a truncated result, where we're missing our 0.9. It just goes to 10. So, the solution to this problem comes from the math class, which I have talked about before. So we can say a equals math.round, and then we can pass in a. So all we're doing is just saying, take a, we're going to round it to the nearest whole number, and then take that whole number and store it back into this double called a. So now let's run this. And now we get 11, because now it properly rounded it from 10.9 up to 11. And in fact, we can just say long a equals math.round, and then comment out this line. Or long b, I'm sorry. And now if we run this, we still get 11. So here we had to specifically use a long, just because of the way that data is being stored and what the difference between a long and an int is, and a double and a float. So if this was a float, then here we could say int instead of long. And now we're getting an error here just because we need to specify that this is a float. Java's really weird like that, so just put an F at the end just so it knows it's a float. And if we run it, we get the same exact result. But what if we wanted to round to a different number? So instead of the ones place, what if we wanted to round to a decimal point? For example, if we wanted to measure currency. So let's go back to having a double. And let's say something cost $23 and maybe some calculation went wrong, or we divide by some weird number, so we get too many decimal points, right? So we just want it to be 23.86. Well, the way we do that is we want to move the decimal point so it's right here. The easiest way to do that is to multiply by 100. So a times equals 100. And now that should put the decimal point right after that 6. And then here we're going to say a equals math.round. A, pass in itself. And lastly, we need to divide by 100. So a divided by equals 100. And we also don't have to put the 0.0 after the 100 because a is already a double, so it's going to be double or floating point division, not integer division, so you don't have to worry about that. But it might be good practice just to put those 0.0s right here. And of course we're going to print out a, so now 2386 is our total. And of course we could put a $sign in front of that if we wanted to be a little more fancy. But now what if we wanted to round to something like the tens or the hundredths place? Well, all we'd have to do is just reverse these. So let's add some more numbers on here. And let's divide by 100 first, and then multiply after. And let's remove the $sign. Let's say we're no longer talking about currency, we're talking about something else. We run it, and now this is rounded to the hundreds place. And that is how you round in Java.